Good evening, everyone. Happy Wednesday night. I want to just jump on here briefly tonight and talk a little bit about 5 tips to creating a higher emotional state. Because I find that we live in a world where a lot of people seem stressed all the time. And it's not a bad or good thing, it's not a judgment, but I walk into a grocery store, I check out, and the cashier barely talks to me, and when you say something to them, so either they're completely disconnected from their job or they're stressed or something's happening. But how do we live in that higher emotional state? Like, how do we, and I got my girl here sitting on my lap. That helps me live in a higher emotional state. Having my girl here, Gracie, and then Snoopy's like sitting right behind me. But how do we live in that higher emotional state? How do we not let stress kind of take over? And it was interesting. I just did an interview with Melanie Seal Jones, and she was talking about there's some studies out there, and I'm going to have to look this up, that if you hate stress, that it puts more of an negative impact on your body, that you're, 70% more, 70% dying more. I don't know exactly the figure, but like it's a more negative an impact versus if you love stress, that you actually have a higher, it actually is good. If you love stress, that doesn't mean you want to live in a stress state by any means, but you love stress for what it teaches you. And a lot of times that's it, is what does stress teach us? What does it help us learn? What does it help us shift and grow? So that's really what I want to talk about a little bit tonight is, how do we live in a higher emotional state? But then when you get into that stressed mode, like, how do you reframe that? Because really stress is what you think about it. It's not stress. I mean, if I'm thinking about something that might happen, maybe I have some control over it, maybe I don't. If I have control over it, then I go figure out, like, how do I make this not happen? Versus if I don't have any control over it and I'm stressed over it and I'm like concerned that something might happen, well, forget it. Like, why am I thinking about it? Like, I don't have any control over it. So my thought is, like, how do I reframe this so it's not a stressful situation and that it's going to happen perfectly for me? So that's a little bit what I want to talk about, but just a couple of quick tips, to live in that higher emotional state. And that most of you have heard this before, is don't listen to the news. I still know people that they get up and they turn their TV on first thing in the morning, and they're listening to the news. And I don't care which side of the news you're on. I really could care less whether you're on the left side, the right side, the middle side, whatever side of the news. Do not listen to the news first thing in the morning at any time. I read news stories because obviously I still want to be connected to what's going on in the world, but I read news stories versus watching, so many of these news channels, they say the same thing over and over, and it's usually the most negative stories that they lead with, especially like the local stuff. This person got shot, this house got broken into, all the different stories. So don't watch the news. Number two, be careful with the people you're around. Be with people that have that higher vibration. This is Gracie here, that think outside the box, who, look at things as positive, even if they're negative. So, if I know that, I'm having a really tough time, I don't want to go around someone that's going to try and one up me. We all have that friend that, we say, oh, I had a really tough day. And then the next thing you know, out of their mouth is like, oh, I did too. This happened, this happened, this happened. And it's like they were one upping you as opposed to listening to you and just giving you a little empathy. And that's a lot of times what we want, is we want the empathy. We want someone to hear us. And that's it. So be around people that are going to have that higher emotional state, that can say, oh, wow, that's like really tough. What are you going to do about it? But thinking about it, spinning it in a positive way instead of a negative way, and not trying to outdo you in the negative sense. Number three, exercise. When I'm stressed here at work, and I don't always do this, but I've started to recognize a little more, it's not even stressed. It's more, if I've just been sitting at my desk too long and I'm like frustrated about something, I haven't gotten enough done. Like, I went for a walk today for about 18 minutes. I walked about a mile, but that allowed me to kind of get, the endorphins rolling and everything. Gracie, say hello. And, do more with my body, because a lot of times when we move, that helps. It helps like release tension in our body. It gets us moving, especially if you're sitting at a desk. I look at a computer a lot of time of the day. So I have to get up and move. I have to stand up. I need to walk around, even if it's in my office. But I mean, luckily I live in Florida, so I get the opportunity to go outside and appreciate some of the beautiful sunshine we've been having and the great weather. So do that. Number 4, gratitude. We all need to recognize what we have. I mean, think about like the earthquake that just happened in Turkey, and think about what the devastation is. How many people are dead? How many families got affected by it? Think about what we have here. And even the people that got affected by Hurricane Ian in Florida, so many of them, I mean, compared to that earthquake, there's so much less death here. People got warned, they got out, they have their lives to be grateful for. They have, new opportunities to be grateful for. Yeah, did the situation suck? Absolutely. I'm not discounting the situation whatsoever. Is the situation still horrific over there? Yes. But figure out what good things are going on in your life. So even when the negative is happening, you still can live into that higher vibration. And that's a big piece is like, how do you be thankful for, you're alive another day. I mean, so many people don't wake up the next morning, so you're alive another day. You're grateful to be alive. You're grateful for your health. You're grateful for, I'm grateful for my little fur babies. I got 6 of them at home. So Gracie's choosing to be on the show with me tonight. So be grateful, practice the gratitude, and number 5, do challenges with others. And what I mean by that is, so many of you know, I've done 75 hard, and I did phase 1, phase 2, and then I just, phase 3, I made it to day 21 and had a little bit of glitch. So I actually failed phase 3, which puts me all the way back at the beginning of 75 hard. But I did these challenges with other people. So a bunch of us started 75 hard together. I think 3 of us actually finished it together. And then others, that started with us have then since done it together too. But do challenges with other people. So some people, maybe have a book challenge, and, even the book club, that's not a challenge per se, but it's something where you get together with other people, and a challenge might be, like a mastermind. Maybe you have a challenge there. A lot of people do fitness challenges. Some people do, let's go run a 5K, let's go run a marathon. Not my thing, but for some people that's great. Do some kind of challenge, and get in with other like-minded people that have that higher vibration. They want more for their life. And that's the biggest thing is like, you've got to be around people that want more for their life and that aren't the ones in the, in the dead end job that's just like, okay, I'm just going to collect my paycheck and that's it. Because that energy continues over and over and over again. And my interview with Mighty Mel today, which will come out in a few weeks, was great because she had, a brain aneurysm, couldn't move, had to learn how to speak English again, all those things. And she is still more motivated to do better, do more, make a bigger impact on life, make a bigger impact on people. And it's such a powerful statement. She is like the definition of resilient. So if she can live into that higher emotional state, why can't the rest of us? Why can't we have that gratitude? We're alive, we're healthy. I'm blessed to be in Florida. Some people like to be in the snow. That's okay too. It's whatever you like. So again, 5 tips to creating a higher emotional state. Leave out the news. Like, I don't watch any of it. I read news stories just to get kind of what the facts are, but I don't need the spin on it from the left and the right. I don't really could care less about all that. Leave out the news. Make sure you're around people that resonate higher with you, because that's so impactful. If you're around like naysayers and negative people, what do you think that does? That brings you down further. Number 3, exercise. If you get stressed, one of the best things is to exercise. And so many of us are like, oh, let me go eat ice cream, or let me, I've done that. Anyone else done that in the audience that's watching right now? I have totally done that, or let me go take a nap. No, just go for a walk. Doesn't mean go to the gym and do this some big workout. If you want to do that, go ahead, but go for a walk, get out. So go exercise. Number 4, be grateful, practice gratitude, write them down. Every single morning, write them down. And number 5, do challenges with others. Again, doesn't have to be a fitness challenge. It could be something else, but that energy that you play off of with someone else is so powerful. So I hope this helped someone out there. If you're feeling the stress, figure out how you look at stress. Is it a benefit to you or is it a negative? And really see, how can stress be beneficial? How can I reframe that and say, stress is beneficial. It's actually a good thing for me to have that in my life, because it allows me to zigzag, figure out a different solution. It allows me to look at things a little bit differently. I hope you guys have a great Wednesday night. Thank you for hopping on. Those that were able to catch it live, appreciate everyone on the replay too. Leave a comment. Let me know what works for you to get you in a higher emotional state. I'd love to hear that. And I will be back on tomorrow. Have a great night, everyone.